All right, there we
I'm
go.
going to take my video off.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Joey Brignac here with Copeland. We have Greg Esposito with GTL, Assistant Vice President of Sales. GTL is one of our valued partners, and like I've always said, they are the easiest to sell in the Medicare Advantage gap space. With their videos on the front of the brochures, their the ease of using their online activities, their trainings they have on the agent portals, the ease of using the portals, everything they do is put in to make your lives as easy as possible and the path of least resistance. As we always say, and as we always start these off, you have to show these because every single time your clients don't know what you don't know if you do not tell them, if you do not show them a way to take care of their out-of-pocket costs. Team, this is affordable peace of mind insurance, less than $1 a day. We're not talking about something that's going to cost them 50, 60, 70 bucks a month on the initial base plan. You can if you add the riders, which I'm sure Greg will go into, but you start them out at something that is reasonable and affordable. And there are some other sales tactics and techniques that I can go into later on. But this is a great way. Of course, we always know the more policies you have in the household, the better your persistency is, the better your referral rate is. And we don't know what CMS is going to, CMS is coming out with all kinds of new things in our industry, and it's not positive. They're trying to, do things in a negative way. But if you look at the ancillaries, things that you can sell all year long, things that you can, talk to someone, not have to worry about CMS, market. These are great ways to talk to potential clients and build up your pipeline to help you sell more Medicare Advantage and more Medicare all year long. So these are, like I said, this is stuff that we have to start being proactive in. We have to start, talking to our clients. Again, they don't know what you know, and you don't have to be perfect to talk about this stuff. As Greg will show you, start with the video. If you just show the video and step back, you're going to sell 25, 30, 40% just by default. So please pay close attention. This is recorded. It will be up on our YouTube channel, Copeland Insurance Group. We have some other great videos up there for your, for you to go in and to look at and for trainings. But Greg, thank you again for your time today. And I'm going to let you take it away and let you do your thing. Thank you again.
Hey, thanks, Joey, and really appreciate everybody tuning in today. This is actually a really fun product to talk about, and I really would appreciate you just kind of sitting back today, relaxing. What we're going to do is we're going to cover not only the product, but we're also going to share how agents cross-sell this plan, what they say, when they say it, and we're going to get your cross-selling ratio with this plan up very high. Before we start that, though, before I get to that next slide, I've got a fun little trivia question on the screen for you. And if you have the ability to put a guest in the Q&A screen or a chat screen, the question is, in the last 5 years, how much has GTL paid in terms of claims to our policyholders for this plan? And we're going to get to that in probably about 5-10 minutes or so. So pop your question, pop your answer in there now. And it's not only a fun way to start an event like this, but also it will show you the power of this plan. And something else that's really interesting to share with you right before we even get into the product, the data shows that less than 1% of Medicare Advantage clients have a hospital indemnity plan. I think the number is like 0.82, so not quite 1%. And now when you couple that with the idea that after you watch this training today, you are most likely going to have at least a 70% selling ratio with this, I mean, it's amazing. 7 out of 10 of the people that you're going to talk to are going to buy this, and virtually everybody that you bring it up to won't even know what a hospital indemnity plan is. When you put the combination of those two statistics together, this is really an incredible product to talk to clients about. So the first thing we want to do is just tell you a little bit about GTL, and we're going to keep it short today with regard to this. First thing, GTL's been around for a long time, since 1936. We're a mutual insurance company, and all of our employees that work for GTL work out of our main office in Glenview, Illinois. So that includes myself, customer service, underwriting, claims. Everything's done in-house here at GTL. Very solid financially. A-minus, excellent rating with AM Best, 0 debt on our balance sheet. I've been with GTL for 23 years now, and that is actually a very common thing. Our other sales manager, 19 years, my boss, 19 years. Our underwriter that retired a couple years ago was here 47 years. So we have a lot of long tenured people here at GTL. It's very common to have people come here and stay here. What we try to do at GTL is create ancillary products. So when your clients have an out-of-pocket expense, let's say from a Medicare Advantage plan, well, we generally have a product that helps take care of that expense for them. So that's specifically what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about our hospital indemnity plan. Its current version is called Advantage Plus Elite. And you could see on the screen all these different brochures coming up. Well, that was because every couple of years we upgrade our plan to make sure it is still the best in the marketplace. So whenever you do see a different hospital indemnity plan out there, 99% sure they looked at our plan first, they copied most of it, tried to do some other stuff with it, but we always make sure that we have the best product overall in the market. We also like to make it easy for you, just as Joey mentioned, to go ahead and get this cross sale started. We know that you don't have 30, 45 minutes to talk to a client about a hospital indemnity plan, so we like to create tools for you to use so that you could actually bring the product up very easily, show a 2-minute video on the product, which is going to do a couple things for you. It's going to tell them a little bit about the product and also show an example in that video of how the product can work for them. We also have an infographic and a client presentation that you can use if you're selling virtually. So really what will happen is you'll be able to bring up this product, make sure to tell them a couple things that I'll tell you today that you need to share with the clients, do an e-application, all within a span of about 10 to 15 minutes, and you are done. And you've really helped out your client. Also, when it comes to doing e-applications, we've got every platform that you could, imagine using. So however you like to write business with GTL, feel free to do that. We still do accept paper applications. That's only about 10% of our business. So 90% of the business is coming in via an e-application. If you want to be with the client, quote the client, and go ahead and do the e-application right there with the client, I definitely advise you to download GTL e-app onto your tablet or smartphone. You can get that from the Apple App Store or Google Play if you've got an Android device. Now, if you're not going to be with the client, you're going to be selling virtually, you can go to GTL's website, gtlic.com, and you can log into the agent portal, as we call it, and do the e-application from there. The only thing missing from this equation is attaining the signature if you're not with the client. When you're with the client, they're just going to sign your device screen and you're all good. But if you're not with the client, you have the option of doing either a verification call or using our new text to sign feature. We launched text to sign last fall, and virtually everybody uses that now. The verification call has kind of become a thing of the past. The text to sign makes it super easy. So if you're not with the client, you're clicking on the text to sign box and then ask for the client's mobile phone number. You put that in, you click enter, and it shoots the client a text. And then when they open up the text, they click a link and it turns their own mobile phone into a signature pad. They sign their phone screen, click submit, and we instantly have their signature. So you can see how agents would rather do that than do a verification call. But the verification call is still there if the client doesn't have a mobile phone. try the text to sign if you're not with a client next time, and I think you'll see how incredibly easy it is to use. Okay, so let's start getting into the fun stuff today. Why would you want to cross-sell hospital indemnity? If you're new to it, you might just not understand what it is or know why. So the first thing is it's really going to help your client's financials, and I'm going to prove that to you in just a couple minutes. Also, you're going to create a long-term client. And I know a lot of carrier reps say that when you attend events like this, you know, that their products are the best, and the more products that you have in a household with a client, the more stickier that business is. And that's true. But in specifically the hospital indemnity, if you're talking to a client about Medicare Advantage and signing them up for that great plan, and then you also talk to them about a plan that's really affordable that will stop them from having to worry about taking a chunk of money out of their bank account when they use their Medicare Advantage plan, instantly you are developing rapport with them, and they're thinking, you know what, this person's really looking out for me and my financial, wherewithal, and it's true. So it's more than developing a long-term client. You're developing a rapport immediately because they see that you're looking out for them. Also, this plan will generate a lot of referrals for you, and I'm going to give you a couple tips along the way how to even increase that. Now, let's get into kind of a very close view of Medicare Advantage and how hospital indemnity can work well. So the first thing is, let's say we're talking to a client about Medicare Advantage. And if they happen to live in a county where they do not have to pay a premium for their Medicare Advantage plan, that is always a great thing. Now, when they start using their Medicare Advantage plan, as you know, they'll start having some copays. And if it's something simple, like an emergency room visit, that copay, $100 as the example on the screen shows, that's usually pretty manageable. Now, where the hospital indemnity plan really comes in to benefit the client is when something happens, like they take an ambulance to the hospital and then they're in the ER and then they're in the hospital for a couple of days. Something as simple as a heart attack or a stroke is going to put them in that situation, or a car accident, or even, falling, breaking their hip. All of a sudden, when those events happen, they've got, most of the time, $1,000 or more already added up as a copay for their Medicare Advantage plan. And when that happens, that's when the reality strikes them. My agent did tell me about these copays, but I really didn't think it was going to happen to me, or now that it has, I've got to take $1,000 or more out of my bank account, even if I have it. So that's when they think, wow, I wonder if there was a better way to do this. And that's why it's really important to talk to your clients about hospital indemnity before they have that type of health situation happen. Just as Joey mentioned, the premium is super affordable, and when they have that future hospitalization, you are already able to design a hospital indemnity plan for them so that when they have that future hospitalization event happen, they can end up with zero net out-of-pocket costs. So sure, they still have their Medicare Advantage copays, but if they have a hospital indemnity plan from GTL and they get that money from GTL, they can use it to pay their Medicare Advantage copays. You can imagine when that happens, they've got some referrals for you because they're like, wow, this plan really works. I want some of my friends to know about it. A little history here for you with regard to our hospital indemnity plan at GTL. We were the first ones in 2005 to create a flexible, designable hospital indemnity plan like we're going to chat about today. So we've been in the market for 19 years. We have been the market leader in this space for 19 years, currently with a 70 to 75% market share. So what's the history? We've had it 19 years. What else is great about it? Zero rate increases in those 19 years. We also have never lowered any policyholder benefits. There's not another hospital indemnity carrier out there that can say anything remotely close to these type of statistics. Also, which keeps it fun for you, we built this plan so people can use it. It's all about having a great plan that's easy to use, that's easy to get your claim benefits, that keeps everybody in the equation happy. Your clients, you, and GTL. We have 19 years of processing millions and millions of hospital indemnity claims. So you can imagine when you do something that many times, you get really good at it. You know what you can do right away. You know what you need to take a little better look at. So when it comes to experience, it's really important. We've got some fun cross-selling tools. I'm going to share that consumer video I talked with you about a couple minutes ago. And also, when you do an e-application with GTL, it can issue in a minute or two. So you'll get an email, and then the client will get an email shortly after you submit their e-application saying, thanks for applying, your coverage is approved. Well, I stuck my neck out a couple minutes ago, and I said, this is really going to help your client's financials, so allow me to prove that to you. What you're seeing on the right side of your screen are some individual Advantage Plus policyholders and the amount of money that we have sent them in claim benefits so far. So if you're thinking hospital indemnity was just a product that, you know, every once in a while you can get a couple $100 from GTL, well, in most cases, that is not the case. You know, this is a product that people use over and over and over again. And imagine having to take those amounts of money out of your bank account if you don't have a hospital indemnity plan. We know the average bank account in America in 2016 was a little less than $9,000. So if you have clients who are having hospital stay after hospital stay, you know, after they age in to, you know, Medicare and have Medicare Advantage, while those copays can really add up. And we also have situations where we have clients that do have a bunch of money in their bank account, and that's great. But I think we can all agree that they'd rather take that money and spend it on their grandchildren or themselves, vacations, whatever it is, as opposed to taking it out to pay healthcare copays. Now, I know you learn a lot about your clients when you meet with them, but you might not know exactly what they have in their bank account. So what I want to share with you is a really short voicemail that a policyholder left on their agent's voicemail system, just to give you another idea of how powerful this product can be.
Doug, this is Ann Miller. Just letting you know that I received my check. I am so grateful for all your help, and we can save our home. Thank you so much. Bye.
Amazing. If you're that agent getting that voicemail, you know you took a couple minutes to tell the client about hospital indemnity, and the next thing you know, they got their claim check from GTL, and that was the difference between them keeping their home or not. Now, I can't tell you a lot about that claim due to HIPAA regulations, but I can tell you it was only a couple $1,000s, but that was the difference between them keeping their home. So you just don't know exactly what your clients have going for them financially, but it is definitely worth time to talk to clients about hospital indemnity. Again, we've been processing claims for 19 years. Nobody does it like GTL, keeping it hassle-free, doing claims processing very quickly. Okay, so we put that trivia question up at the beginning saying, in the last 5 years, how much has GTL sent out in hospital indemnity claim benefits? So here we go. In the last 5 years alone, over $192 million sent out to clients. So what do we know about this product? It's been around 19 years, never increased the rates. We've never taken away policyholder benefits. It's really affordable, and we're sending out tens of millions of dollars in claim benefits. So that just kind of shows you this is a product you can have confidence in talking about. It's been very stable, keeps people really happy. So how does it affect you? I already mentioned that most agents have about a 70% or higher closing ratio with this plan. So keep that in mind. If you've got Medicare Advantage clients already and now you're just going to reach out to them about hospital indemnity, you're going to have about a 70% closing ratio. And that's probably a lot of policies if you've been in the business a while and have some Medicare Advantage clients. Also, the fun thing is that there's no pressure to ever sell this plan during a certain time of the year. You have all year to sell it. And granted, GTL gets in a ton of applications during AEP and OEP. However, you don't have to cross-sell it during that time span. Some agents, if you're new to Medicare, are just not comfortable. They want to go through their first AEP, take care of their clients' Medicare Advantage policies, Med-Sup policies, whatever it is, and move on. But that's fine. You can go ahead and circle back later and talk to them about GTL. The plan pays really nice first-year commissions, but more importantly, and why I really bring this up, it pays renewal commissions for the life of the policy. Here's another fun fact for you. The average policy at GTL is on the books for at least 8 years. So it is not uncommon for me to be traveling and talking to agents who've been selling our plans and them telling me that their GTL renewals are paying their mortgage or paying their car payments. It's a great plan. You can really build up a nice block of renewals for yourself. Getting into the product a little deeper in terms of what you want to know, what clients may actually ask you about this plan when you start talking about it. First, where can I use it? Well, once you have a plan issued from GTL, you can use it in all 50 states. You cannot use it internationally, but you can use it in all 50 states. And they may say, well, what if I change my MA plan next year? No big deal. Just keep paying your GTL premium. You can still use it in all 50 states. Well, I'm from Illinois. What if I decide I'm tired of shoveling snow and I want to move to Texas or Florida or Arizona? No big deal. I take my Illinois issued Advantage Plus plan with me wherever I move. And again, I can use it in all 50 states. So keep that in mind. Clients will actually ask you that question. In terms of being compliant, cross-selling this plan during a Medicare appointment, I always just like to point this out just so you get a little more comfortable with it. If you're going to talk about GTL during a Medicare appointment, you definitely need to have the scope of appointment form initialed by the hospital indemnity products box or supplemental health products box, depending upon the scope you're using. And that way you can talk about GTL during a Medicare appointment. Here's a fun part. If you are just going to talk to the client about GTL, not talking about Medicare, you do not need a scope of appointment form completed. So keep it simple, talking about Medicare and GTL, get a scope, just GTL, no scope. Setting up the plan is really fun and easy. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it today. I'm going to show you the manual way, and I'm going to show you the fun way. So let's start off with the manual way. Basically, the first thing you do is you take a peek at the client's Medicare Advantage plan, specifically how many days do they have a copay for when they're in the hospital as an inpatient. Is it 5 days, 6 days, 7 days? Well, you can see at the bottom part of this slide, we have all these different base plans. We also call them benefit periods. We have all these to choose from: 1 day, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 15-day benefit periods. So if your client has a 6-day copay responsibility on their Medicare Advantage plan, just match it up with a GTL 6-day base plan. Now, every day they're in the hospital and they have a copay, they have money coming from GTL. Super simple. And you're not just getting 6 days in this example, because these base plans, whichever one you choose, they restore an unlimited amount of times after 60 days of no hospital confinement. So they can use this plan over and over and over again. So step 2 in setting up their plan is, again, to take a peek at the Medicare Advantage plan, again, at the inpatient hospitalization copay. What is it daily? Is it $250? Is it $320? Well, whatever it is, you then match up that copay with a benefit from GTL. So using the most common base plans that you will use, the 5-day, the 6-day, all of those, you can go as low as $100 per day up to $750 per day in GTL benefits. And you can choose in $10 increments. So it's super simple to either match it up exactly or just go a little over. Now, that's a great plan right there, as Joey mentioned. You're really helping out the clients here. But keep in mind there's 2 other benefits that come with the base plan, whichever one you choose. The first one is an emergency room benefit. So if they go to either an emergency room or an urgent care facility due to an injury, it definitely has to be due to an injury for the emergency room benefit to be paid, well, then they're going to get $150. And if you're wondering, will we pay the emergency room benefit and that hospitalization benefit? Absolutely. So if I fell and broke my hip, that's obviously an accident. I'm going to go to the ER. I'm definitely going to get treated there, and I'm going to get admitted. I'm going to get both the $150 emergency room benefit, and I'm going to start getting that hospitalization benefit daily for as many days as I'm in the hospital. Now, the third benefit that you get with whichever base plan you choose is a mental health benefit. Now, if you're in the hospital due to a mental health condition, then what you'll receive is $175 per day for up to 7 days per calendar year. Now, if you're wondering if we'll pay the mental health benefit and the hospital confinement benefit together, the answer to that is no. If you are in the hospital due to a sickness or illness, then you're getting the hospitalization benefit. If you're in the hospital due to a mental health condition, then you're getting the mental health benefit. So there you go. Great plan starting out. Whichever one you choose, you get 3 benefits. Okay, that was the manual way to set it up. Let's get into the fun way to set it up. Now, if you're using your computer, your PC, and you're going to GTL's website and you're logging in, normally to start the quote, you would click on quote and submit. And that's the manual way to set up the coverage. But if you click on fill the gaps tool instead, it is going to ask you a little bit of information on the client, but then you have a drop-down list to select the exact Medicare Advantage plan that the client has. And from there, the software here will design their GTL coverage for them. It'll match up the amount of days they're in the hospital with a GTL benefit. It'll match up that copay. It will also match up any riders that we have on the GTL side to help take care of some of the copays they have on the Medicare Advantage side. Now, here's the only caveat with the Fill the Gaps tool. Nobody buys all of the riders. Most people buy a base plan and then maybe an ambulance rider or maybe some other rider that, fits into exactly where they are in their life at the moment. So when you do use the Fill the Gaps tool, which agents absolutely love using, you're definitely going in up front, you're going to be unchecking some coverages. But as agents tell me, they find that when they use the Fill the Gaps tool and they go through all the riders with the clients, they're kind of surprised at some of the additional rider coverages that people will purchase that they really didn't think they would. So check out the Fill the Gaps tool sometime. Now, when you tell people about this product, maybe you show them the video, as Joey mentioned earlier, they're going to have some questions. And usually one of the first ones they say is, this thing sounds great. And besides how much does it cost, they're going to say, well, how does this thing really work? And what you really need to tell them up front is, this product doesn't kick in until you're in the hospital a certain amount of time. Now, if you're working with Medicare Advantage clients, you're going to be working with our 3-day, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 15-day base plans. All of those kick in once you're in the hospital for 6 hours. So you're just basically letting the client know this is great coverage. Once you're in the hospital for 6 hours, that's when this plan kicks in. Next thing they're going to ask is there anything I cannot use it for? And I really don't, after having this product 19 years, have an answer for that, because you can use it for virtually everything. Scheduled surgeries, hip replacements, cancer surgeries, heart surgeries, sudden illnesses like a heart attack, stroke, rush to the hospital. You're there for more than 6 hours. This plan's kicked in. Car accidents, slips and falls and breaks, all these things that can bring you to the hospital and keep you there for 6 hours or more, you can use this plan for. So, sure, some of you are wondering, well, Greg, you keep talking about inpatient stays. What if they're coded to observation? Well, don't worry about it. We designed this plan, as I mentioned early on, so people can use it. So when that whole observation thing started, we decided at GTL that if a client is in the hospital long enough for their base plan to kick in, which we know now is 6 hours, well, we're going to pay them the same amount of money that they would get coded to observation as they would if they were coded to inpatient. So you just don't have to worry about simple things like that. And this is one of those areas where when you look at the fine print on some of our competitions, policies, you may not see the same great results. So I wanted to share with you a little bit of an idea in case you were scratching your head saying, how in the world did somebody get close to $90,000 in claim benefits so far with this affordable policy? Well, here's how it's done. Let's just say that you sold me this plan and I bought a 6-day base plan from you. Again, we call base plans and benefit periods the same thing. Let's just say down the road then I didn't feel well and I went to the hospital and I was there for 3 days. And then I came home and everything was great for the next couple months. So after I was home for 60 consecutive days without having a hospitalization, I get a brand new 6-day base plan to work with for anything in the future. So once you're out of the hospital 60 consecutive days, you get an automatic, unlimited restoration of your base plan. Now, what happens if it didn't go that smooth? Let's say I went in the hospital for 3 days and then I came home, and after a couple of weeks, I didn't feel well again. I go back in the hospital. Well, I only used 3 of my 6 days of benefits the first time I was in, so I still have those other 3 to use. And then after I've been out of the hospital for 60 consecutive days, you guessed it, I get a brand new 6-day benefit period to work with. So whichever base plan you choose, that's how it works. After you're out of the hospital for 60 days, you get a brand new base plan to work with. Unlimited restorations. Here's some great product details, but they're actually kind of closers, music to the client's ears, if you will. First, we'll start off with the issue age range. In most states, 40 through 85 can apply for coverage. Now, the music to the client's ears is once you have this coverage, it never goes away, it never reduces. As long as you pay your GTL premium, you can keep it as long as you like. Also, some great news, especially for your clients that already have some unfortunate serious health conditions. 64.5 up to age 70 is guarantee issue. Now, here's a little tip for you. Once you hit the age of 70, it is not guarantee issue anymore. So 64.5 up to the age 70 is guarantee issue. Please get your clients into this plan if they have some serious health conditions in the guarantee issue window. They will be immensely grateful. Here's some other great news. Once you buy this plan, it stays the same premium rate as you get older, so it never increases in price. The only thing we've ever done in the last 19 years with this plan is lower premium rates. So we have a great history of never guaranteeing that we wouldn't touch them, but at the same time, the only thing we've done is lower them in 19 years. We used to, if you've been selling this plan for a while, you'd know this, we used to have a one-time $20 application fee that we would charge clients the first time that we would draft them for premiums. We'd draft them their premium and then draft them an extra $20 as an application fee. Agents never really liked explaining that to clients. So when we launched Advantage Plus Elite, we removed that $20 application fee. This product, the Advantage Plus Elite, does have a $20 policy fee, but when you quote it, it's in there. So looking at the example on the screen, you're saying, Mrs. Smith, your premium for this plan as we've designed it will be $34.33, and that is all in. Okay, so let's talk referrals here for a second. And I know you just saw the bottom screen come up and say benefits paid directly to policyholders. So you're saying, why, Greg, are you bringing up referrals here? Well, I want to give you a little tip for getting yourself some more referrals. So first thing is, when you are selling this plan and you do the e-application and you're kind of closing up shop with the client, make sure to tell them that in about a week, they'll get in the mail from GTL some policy documents and their ID card from GTL for this product. Most importantly, tell them, you know what, keep it in a safe space. Do not bring your ID card from GTL to the hospital. Keep everything at home. And if they say why, it's like simple. So when you go to the hospital in the future and you come home, you fill out a short GTL claim form. And when you fill out the claim form and send it to GTL, they will send you the money directly. You get the check. You get to do whatever you want with it. When that happens, when the client uses this plan, they get their check and they see this worked exactly as you described it, that's when you start getting a lot of referrals because you're like, wow, this thing really works. My friend should know about this. Now, what happens if they take their GTL ID card to the hospital? Well, net, it's not a big deal, but when a client does take their ID card to the hospital and give it to the administrator and then sign the regular hospital admittance forms, somewhere in those forms, no matter what hospital you're at, it is saying, I'm assigning all of my insurance benefits directly to the hospital. So at that point, when the client does take their GTL ID card to the hospital, gives it to the administrator, signs that admittance form, GTL legally has to pay the claim benefits directly to the hospital. At the end of the day, it all works out the same, but the difference is the client never sees and receives the check in their hand, and you don't get as many referrals. Now, this is probably the most important slide that I can show you today. It's one that when we show them the video and we tell them about the product, we definitely want to hit this. We definitely want to tell them about this, that the product has a 6-month pre-existing condition limitation. I wouldn't use those words because they're not in the insurance business. They don't know what all that means. So I would just say something like this: Mrs. Smith, with this plan, it has a 6-month waiting period on it for your pre-existing conditions. And if she says, well, what does that mean? Okay, well, if you get this product today, anything your doctor has treated you for in the prior 6 months, or told you, you know what, Mrs. Smith, you need to go in the hospital and get some tests run because I think you may have this or that. Those are pre-existing conditions. So if your policy goes into force today, you can't use it for any hospitalization specifically, exactly of those pre-existing conditions for the first 6 months you have it. Now, after 6 months, you can use it all day long for any of your pre-existing conditions. So it's just important the client knows that once they have the product, that they can't use it for the first 6 months for hospitalizations or any other pre-existing conditions. Now, I start off this slide by saying you need to tell everybody about it because, importantly, even the folks that come in guarantee issue still have the 6-month pre-X. So they can get the coverage, but they also do have the 6-month pre-X. So it's good news. They can use it after 6 months for all their pre-existing conditions. And even better news is you can use this product right away. You don't have to wait 6 months if anything happens to you that is not pre-existing. So let me show you how easy it is to use this product very quickly. Okay, I could have a car accident the day after I got this product, takes me to the hospital, I'm there for 6 hours, I can use it. I could have a slip and fall, my appendix could rupture, I could have a heart attack, a stroke, all these things that could happen that are not pre-existing. You're going to find that the clients that you sell this product to, a lot of them will actually use it well before the 6 months is over. Here's the fun part of the presentation. Let me share with you how a lot of agents sell this product. Everybody seems to love this plan, but if you don't know how to bring it up, you might hesitate. So let's talk a little bit about some different ways agents bring it up. Let's say we're at the kitchen table with our client, Mrs. Smith, and we're going over her Medicare Advantage plan benefits. And when we get to down to that inpatient hospitalization care, we're going to have to tell her, you know what, Mrs. Smith, with this Medicare Advantage plan, you'll be responsible for $250 per day for days 1 through 6 when you're in the hospital. Right there, you can segue the next sentence, say, now that's a copay that can definitely add up. And if you don't want to have to worry about budgeting for something like that, don't worry. Because once we set you up with this great Medicare Advantage plan that's going to work great for you, I'll show you how a separate hospital indemnity plan can lower your net out-of-pocket cost to 0 when you have hospitalizations, probably for a little less than $1 a day. Is that something that you're interested in me telling you about, Mrs. Smith? She's probably going to say yes, because she actually did invite you into her home to give her the best overall health plan and keep her costs as low as possible. Now, some agents do it a little bit differently. They're really familiar with the GTL product. They know that we have an ambulance rider. Emergency care is included in the base plan. We have an outpatient surgery rider. We have a skilled nursing facility rider. So they may go through this Medicare Advantage plan and say something like this. Well, Mrs. Smith, with this Medicare Advantage plan, your outpatient surgery copay is going to be $150. Remind me later how to show you how to bring that down to 0. Also, your ambulance copay will be $200. Remind me later how to show you how to bring that down to 0. So you see where I'm going here. We're just letting the client know this is your coverage. I have a way to bring down these costs to 0. Remind me to tell you about it later. So what's going to happen in this example is she's going to ask you later, like, show me what we were talking about earlier. Here's a different way that some agents do it. It's more of a personalized approach. You may say something like, Mrs. Smith, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you a question, and feel free if you do not want to answer it. If unfortunately down the road something happened where you had to take an ambulance to the hospital and you're in the ER and then you're in the hospital for a couple of days, and the copays on this Medicare Advantage plan are probably going to add up to about $1,000 at that point. If that happened to you, unfortunately, would it be difficult for you to come up with that $1,000, or would that be a budget buster, for you? And if she says, yeah, that would be tough, say, well, great, I'm glad that you asked, because we're going to get you set up with this plan that's going to work very well for you. And then I can show you a separate plan that can lower those net out-of-pocket costs to 0, so you don't have to worry about that situation happening. She's going to be thrilled that you brought that up to her. So finish the Medicare Advantage sale. And then, as Joey suggested, you're going to definitely go ahead and show the consumer video. This is a great time to show it. You could say something like, you know, Mrs. Smith, we talked a couple minutes earlier about how we can lower your net out-of-pocket copay cost to zero. Let me show you a quick video on the product we're talking about, and then we'll see if it's something you're interested in, and then play the video.
So, you just enrolled for Medicare Advantage health coverage. Great choice. Did you know there is additional coverage you can add to protect you from the out-of-pocket medical expenses you are still responsible for? Help fill any gaps in coverage and strengthen your financial protection with a hospital confinement indemnity insurance policy from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Since 2005, GTL's industry-leading hospital indemnity insurance has been helping clients lower or completely eliminate their net out-of-pocket expenses stemming from Medicare Advantage copays and deductibles after a hospitalization event. Coverage is affordable and pays you directly based on your time in the hospital, regardless of any other health care coverage you have or where in the U.S. you receive care. Your potential out-of-pocket costs could be for a variety of services, including ambulance trips, outpatient therapy, critical accidents, and more. GTL's hospital indemnity insurance allows you to customize your coverage to help cover these and many others. Let's see a quick example on how it works. Meet Beth. She is 65 years old, and her Medicare Advantage coverage leaves her responsible for a daily hospitalization copay of $300 per day for her first 6 days in the hospital. Knowing she would be responsible for her high copay, her agent helped her customize and apply for a GTL hospital indemnity insurance policy. Beth's new policy provided a restorable 6-day benefit period of $300 per day for less than $25 per month. A few months later, Beth suffered an illness that kept her in the hospital for 6 days. Her GTL hospital indemnity insurance kicked in after the first 6 hours of her stay. Beth received $1,800 directly from GTL for her hospitalization, which she used to completely cover her Medicare Advantage copay. Instead of worrying about how to pay her high copay, Beth could focus on her recovery without a financial setback. You shouldn't have to worry about covering out-of-pocket medical expenses. So now is a great time to think about GTL's hospital indemnity insurance.
There you go, a great little short video that is amazing. As Joey was talking about a little bit earlier, the thing that's really amazing about it, talks a little bit about the product, but then that example it shows of how it can work. That's what the client can identify with. Say, you know what, this thing does make a lot of sense. How much is it? You let them know, you tell them about the pre-ex, you sign them up for coverage. Really great. Also want to share with you that some agents are using this video to prospect for hospital indemnity sales. Here's a couple different ways. They're actually taking the link to the video, putting it on social media with a sentence or two if you've got Medicare Advantage coverage and you're looking to lower your net out-of-pocket costs to zero. Take a quick look at this video, give me a call. I can even sign you up over the phone. You know, something short and sweet like that. Some agents are sending an email to their Medicare Advantage clients that don't have a hospital indemnity plan. And in that email, it's going to say something like, you know, especially after like AEP or OEP is over, Mrs. Smith, just reaching out to thank you for allowing me to be your health agent, letting me come into your home and get you set up with a great health plan. Just reaching out to make sure you have all of your health care information in the mail, your ID card, and making sure your plan's working well for you. Next paragraph. When we met, we talked about some co-pays you'll experience when you use your Medicare Advantage plan. Click the link and watch this short video. This is a product that's been around for 19 years, helping hundreds of thousands of people. You may really find interest in it. If you do, give me a call. I can quote you, and I can even sign you up over the phone. Something very short and sweet like that. I also recommend that if you're going to put the video link in an email, since we are finally getting people definitely leery of clicking on links and emails, and that's 100% accurate to do that, I would also include a link to the PDF here, which is would just be a file that they can open of our infographic. And that's something that really, like the video, shows an example of how the product works. And the infographic you can order right from GTL, or we can send you the PDF for it that you can include in an email. With regard to the most popular rider, the ambulance rider, this one is definitely built for use. So if you take an ambulance to the hospital, you're going to get a benefit from GTL. Most people are signing up for $200 or $250, whatever their copay is on their Medicare Advantage plan. But you can go as low as $50, you can go as high as $400. And basically, even if you had to take another ambulance, maybe the day after you already took an ambulance to the original hospital, maybe you needed to go to the rehab facility, maybe another hospital, that's going to be another benefit. The beauty of the ambulance rider, it's built for use, meaning even if you just take an ambulance to the hospital and you're just going to the ER, or it's an observation coded stay, or an inpatient stay, it doesn't matter, you're getting your benefits. What I like most about this rider and talking to clients about it is you can actually explain it to them in about 10 seconds. Let's give it a shot. Mrs. Smith, with the GTL ambulance rider, you'll get $300 every time you take an ambulance to go to the hospital, and you can use this benefit up to 4 times per year, up to 12 times over the life of the product. That's it. And the price, very affordable, usually $2 to $5, depending upon the client's age when they apply. Very affordable and it's used very much. So here's an objection you may run into. You may have a client who says, you know what, I'm already paying a premium for my Medicare Advantage plan. Why do I want to pay another premium for another type of insurance, hospital indemnity? Or you may just get a client who doesn't have to pay a premium for Medicare Advantage, but they're like, I don't know if I want to pay an extra $25 or $35 a month for a hospital indemnity plan. Well, here's a great example to show them. Let's just say that Mrs. Smith does not have a hospital indemnity plan, and one day she doesn't feel well, she needs to take an ambulance to the hospital, and she's in the hospital for one day. Well, with her MA plan, she's got a $550 bill right then and there. That's going to be her copay. So what if she already had a hospital indemnity plan? What if you set her up at age 65 with a 6-day base plan from GTL with $300 a day in the hospital, $250 ambulance rider? How much would that cost her? Well, $320.55 a year. So even at age 80, it is better financially to have a hospital indemnity plan and then have the situation happen. So when you show clients an example like this, a couple things become evident really quickly. First, the break even on this plan is really short. And then you can say, you know what, you're right, Mrs. Smith, this plan does break even very quickly. And just remember, you can use this plan over and over again because you get these base plans that restore every 6 days of every 60 days of no hospital confinement. And then put a little icing on the cake for Mrs. Smith and let her know, you know what, with this plan, there's no maximum amount of claim benefits that you will ever hit where GTL will say, that's it, we paid you enough, because there's no plan maximum on this in terms of benefits. So there you go. Great way to combat any objection with regard to premium. If you're working with veterans, I'm sure most of you are, and you're wondering, well, what happens if my veteran client uses this, they go to a VA facility, and they actually don't get charged at the VA facility for a room? Well, that's okay. They can still have GTL reach out to the VA facility. We'll get their check-in time, their checkout time, so we know how many days to pay them for, and we'll pay them their claim benefits. So keep that in mind. Now's a great time for me to tell you this too. We pay all GTL claim benefits based upon their GTL coverage. We don't know what they have. We don't know what MA plan they're on. We don't know if they're going to a VA facility. But we pay benefits based upon their GTL coverage. We don't coordinate coverage. We don't lower their claim benefits because their copay wasn't as high as our benefit. Nope. We pay out full benefits based upon their GTL coverage. Very popular rider, even though it's only a couple years old, is our outpatient therapy benefit rider. Think about your clients that have heart attacks or strokes. Maybe they have a knee replacement, hip replacement, rotator cuff surgery. They're going to need some type of physical therapy, occupational therapy. If they had a stroke, speech therapy. All these different types of therapy are covered under the outpatient therapy rider. And you can choose when you apply 15 days or 30 days per calendar year of benefits. What's the benefit? It's $50 per day included in that rider. So if something happens to the client after having this rider, something messes up their back or something and they need some chiropractic therapy, we also have a benefit in there, $50 per day for up to 5 days per calendar year. good rider. Now, a rider that I like but is really not that popular is our critical accident rider. Think about this. As you get a little bit older, things tend to break more easily, tear, dislocate. So that's how it works. So if you have some situations like that, your car accident, bone breaks, fall, slip and fall, bone breaks, dislocate your knee, tear a ligament, you get a lump sum payout with this rider. You can see you can choose $5,000 or $10,000 rider choice. That's the most amount that you'll be able to get with this rider, $5,000 or $10,000. And while I've been jabbering away here, you probably noticed that there's an accidental death benefit included with the rider too. 30-day waiting period for it to kick in after issue, but I like the rider. It's very inexpensive, but just keep that in mind. Now, this is a very comprehensive cancer rider, and it's really built for use. We start out with cancer coverage with a benefit of as low as $2,500 and as high as $20,000 for an internal invasive spreading cancer. So stage 1, 2, 3, 4 internal cancers, you've got that covered. Also, stage 0 cancer, also referred to sometimes as cancer in situ, you've got coverage there. That's a 25% benefit based upon the amount of cancer coverage you chose for your lump sum amount. We're still not done. Skin cancer included in this rider. Basal cell or squamous cell skin cancer, that's a $500 benefit payable up to 3 times over the life of the policy. So when I mentioned that this is built for use, it really is. We've got skin cancer, early stage cancer, and internal cancer, stage 1, 2, 3, 4, covered all in this rider. If you're wondering what agents usually recommend their clients to purchase, a $10,000 rider is usually what we see coming in on the applications. Here's why. If you look at a client's maximum out of pocket, it's going to be somewhere between $3,500 and $5,000 in most cases. What happens if they're diagnosed with cancer this year and they start doing some of their treatments, whether it be radiation or chemo? They've got an 80-20 copay on most Medicare Advantage plans, so they are going to hit their maximum out of pocket. And then if they're still being treated, radiation, chemo, when the calendar year turns, guess what? They've got another maximum out of pocket. So take a look at their MOOP and double it. And that, if they can afford the cancer coverage, that's what you want to do. Do at least a $10,000 rider. 65-year-old, $10,000 rider, about $25, $26 a month last time I checked on it. So really affordable. Now, about 30% of the folks that do get the lump sum cancer rider do sign up for the recurrence benefit rider, and that just gives them the ability to get paid their lump sum amount more than once. So if I was diagnosed with a covered cancer and I got my lump sum check, let's say a $10,000 lump sum, I went through treatment, whatever that was, once I go into remission, the clock starts and the rider rebuilds. So if the cancer were to come back after 1 year, I'd get a 10% payout, so $1,000 in this example. If it came back after 5 years, I get another $10,000 payout. And the thing I like about the recurrence benefit rider is the fact that it doesn't have to be the same exact cancer that came back. It could have been a totally different type of covered cancer diagnosed, and that would allow me to get the recurrence benefit payout. Now, there's a skilled nursing facility rider. You can take your pick, day 1 to 50 coverage or day 21 to 100 coverage. Really your choice, whatever the client likes to do. I like day 1 through 50. So if your client goes into the skilled nursing facility and they're only there a couple of weeks, they're going to get some benefits from GTL. And yes, even though they don't have a copay for it on their Medicare Advantage plan, they get that money from GTL and they can spend it however they like. Now, you can choose 100 all the way up to 220 in terms of a daily benefit. You choose in $10 increments. You do have to be in the hospital for 3 consecutive days and then move to the skilled nursing facility within 30 days of that hospitalization for this rider to kick in. Outpatient surgery rider, very valuable rider now that we lowered the prices when we launched the Elite plan. We lowered them substantially. So now I really do like this rider. What do people use this for? Well, surgeries done at outpatient surgical facilities. Number 1, that would be cataract surgery, very popular usage of this rider. Now, you may be wondering about other things. If it's not surgical, you can't use this rider. However, I'll give you a situation. Let's say your client goes in for a routine colonoscopy, and during that colonoscopy procedure, they do remove some tissue. Well, now it's a surgical procedure, so they could use this rider. So keep that in mind. It's not for MRIs, X-rays, or non-surgical procedures, but if they're having some type of surgical procedure, or a procedure does turn into a surgery that wasn't initially anticipated, they can use this rider. Underwriting, really simple for this product. You go ahead and answer the 5 application questions. No, you get it. There's no other underwriting involved. There's no MIB or RX check or anything behind the scenes. Answer the application questions. No, you get it. Guarantee issue folks do not have to answer any of the medical questions. They can get it between the ages of 64.5 up to 70, guarantee issue. Now, all the coverage is guarantee issue with the exception of the lump sum cancer rider that we just went over. If you do want that coverage and you do check the box, you will see 4 additional questions come up asking you specifically about cancer and if you've had it in the last 5 years. 6-month pre-X, we tackled that already. The policy is contestable just like just about any life insurance product out there or other health insurance product out there. So if your clients are answering the application questions honestly, they don't have any issues whatsoever. Most people pay via monthly bank draft. I'm sure you could guess that. We do have the ability to draft for any mode, and if your client does want direct bill, we only offer quarterly, semi-annual, or annual direct billing, and in that situation for a direct bill, we would need a paper application and the first premium check to come into GTL. So hopefully your clients are doing monthly bank draft or some type of draft, and that way you're never collecting any premium. I wanted to show you the application questions really quickly, just to give you an idea of what they're all about. Let me just give you a few seconds to take a peek at them here. First one, in the last 3 months, have you been in the hospital as an inpatient? And then in the next 3 are asking you in the past 12 months, have any of these issues been had or diagnosed? The one question on there, number 4, that I'll kind of point out to you is basically saying, hey, has your doctor in the last 12 months told you need to go get surgery and you haven't scheduled it yet? So pretty simple. Most of your clients are going to be able to attain this coverage. And just remember, if they're coming in guarantee issue, they're not going to see these questions. One question that I wanted to show you and point out, because this will help you in the future, is the first question. In the last 3 months, have you been in the hospital as an inpatient? We have that word specifically in there, inpatient, for a reason. That's all we care about. So if you ask the client this question, they say, yeah, I was in there 2 months ago. Okay, well, were you an inpatient? Oh, no, I just went to the ER. Great. Mark this thing no. What if they were in there and they were coded to observation? Great. Mark the question no and go on to the next one. So at the end of the day, what we have is a product that has fewer underwriting questions. We have 5. Our competitors have 7, 9, 11. You know, we have easier qualification standards with lookbacks and also a really nice wide guarantee issue range, low premium rates, fun videos for you to share, infographics to share to help you get this cross sale done. And at the end of the day, you can ask Joey, or feel free to ask any other agents that you run into that sell this plan. Ask them what their policyholders' claim experience has been with GTL. That is really our #1 strength. Besides the fact that we have the best product, how we process claims is what keeps everybody happy. Last thing I'll mention today is how we process claims. There's a very short claim form. The first page kind of tells the client what it's all about, what we need, what we're looking for. The client puts their policy number, their name, contact info, when they went to the hospital, what it was for, sign the claim form. Also, they sign and date a HIPAA form, pretty simple, and then they send us the UB04 bill. Now that bill tells us when they checked in, when they checked out, what they were there for, and that thing really allows us to process this claim very quickly. Now, about 35% of the people don't send us in the correct UB04 form, or maybe they send us some other bill that shows all the Tylenol they were taking and they have blood tests and all that stuff that doesn't help us know how many days they were in the hospital. So since we have the HIPAA form as part of the claim packet and they've already signed it and sent it to us, we can reach out to the facility for them and get that information so they're not running around trying to get information for us to be able to process their claim. So if they let us know they're having an issue getting the UB04 form, we are happy to call get that information for them so they don't have to. At the end of the day, the last thing we ever do at GTL is delay paying a claim or try not to pay a claim that we should. When you think about it rationally, that doesn't make sense for anybody. We've had the product 19 years. It works unbelievably great for everybody involved. There's never a reason why GTL would delay or try not to paying a claim. Also, it's great when your clients want to know what's going on with their claim. If that ever happens, have them call us. It's nice when they call us because we can tell them more information than we can tell you due to HIPAA regulations. So feel free to have them call us. They're going to find out, oh yeah, GTL is on top of this. Our average turnaround time is 8 business days. When we get the information we need, that's our turnaround time. If it ever gets longer than that, it could be because we've ordered medical records to take a peek at something. We may just want to be verifying that this claim we received shortly after the policy issued wasn't a pre-existing condition. But the great news is we have a great way to get the medical records quickly, because we know doctors do not walk into their office every morning and thinking, you know, the first thing I want to do today is send GTL the claim information or the medical records that they need. No. So we have a vendor that we use that calls the doctor every 3 days to remind them we need the information. So we get the information quickly. We keep the claim processing going very quickly. Now, I know we covered a ton today. I know I went a couple minutes over, so I apologize for that. But I do want to let you know, if you need information on this plan, if you want to order some supplies, have any questions about the e-app platforms, anything that really comes up, you can call GTL Sales Support, 800-323-6907. You can also text to chat with them during normal business hours at the same number, or you can just email them at agency@gtlic.com. If you've got your cell phone readily available to you, please do me a favor, take a picture of the screen, and sometime during the day, feel free to put my name, Greg Esposito, and my email address, gspo@gtlic.com, into your phone. So if you're ever meeting with a client and you get stumped with a question on this plan, feel free to email me, whether it is during the day, in the evening, on the weekend. Please feel free to email me. You'll see that I'll respond very quickly, short of me being on an airplane traveling for business or doing a training like this today. Please reach out to me with any questions. I want to thank you for your time today, and I'm not sure if there's any questions that I can answer for you. Joey, do you happen to know if there's anything I can answer today?
I think most of the things, Greg, you have covered. I like to kind of give a quick, I know we're a little bit over time, but a quick overview, because Greg gives some great information and some great sales ideas. Remember, guys, the average savings of a senior is less than $9,000. This takes less than 10 to 15 minutes to present, doing the way that Greg showed you at the time, and I've discussed this before, with showing it right at the part where they have the outpatient copay. The ER benefit is with the base benefit. After 60 days, they get full restoration, and there's in this renewal life of the policy. I like the word that Greg used, and use this in your sales. Use this and keep this for a budget buster. Excuse me. We're trying to give our clients peace of mind. We're trying to show them that there's an economical and a budget-friendly way to protect their assets, whether it be $1,000 or $5,000, whatever it may be. Whether the cancer comes in, they have the cancer rider, and the cancer is one of the most prevalent ways that they're going to reach their max out of pocket. Which Greg took my thunder, which always go 2 times max out of pocket for your cancer riders, because cancer didn't stop on December 31st. You're going to go through 2 of those. So remember that, team. Simple underwriting. And like I said, you have to make sure you show this each and every time, because when you do, you get a 70% closing rate. And that is what we're trying to do here, is increase our book of business, increase our footprint, and increase our presence, and write more Medicare as well. And it all goes together. So I wanted to say that. Greg, thank you so much for your time. Thanks everyone for joining, and a wealth of knowledge, and always a pleasure hearing what you have to say. And thank you again. Anybody else have any questions? Do you want to come off mute and ask Greg real quick before we end this presentation?
Greg, I just wanted to chime in here. It's Jan. Listen, for those that are, I see agents that are in the California market, and yes, they're not, it's not a product that the Department of Insurance has allowed the hospital indemnities for those 65 and older with any carrier. However, keep in mind for, these states that GTL is in, the max out of pocket on the Medicare Advantage product is expected to go up due to the Part D premiums escalating, the max out of pocket for drugs going down. All of that combined is going to cause max out of pockets possibly to increase over the next couple years. So you're going to have folks that are shopping med sup products and, revisiting their decision when they went on a med sup product, going on a Medicare Advantage, and then slipping in a hospital and indemnity to protect that max out of pocket is extremely, a benefit for you. And remember, with all of our resources on Medicare Center through our partnership with Integrity, you all have the capability, visibility, to write in multiple markets that you have non-resident licenses in. So, keep that in mind, utilizing, you don't have to just own your zip code any longer. You can look for opportunities in other markets. And, like Greg mentioned, this is an easy product to just slip in as you're going through Medicare Advantage. But then let's say you run across a lead or you purchased a lead and that person said, oh, I've already enrolled with a broker and I'm set on a Humana policy. My response as an agent would be, great. What did you utilize to protect your out of pocket? And most likely, because the statistic Greg gave us is less than 1% of the Medicare Advantage folks have a hospital indemnity, odds are 99% chance the broker didn't even bring it up. So you can now make a client using this hospital indemnity and then just say, Mrs. Smith, I understand you have a broker that you work with on the Medicare Advantage. This has nothing to do with them. This would be something separate that I can work with you on. But now you have them as a client that you could possibly even get that Medicare Advantage at some point down the line. So great presentation, great partnership with the GTL folks. Thanks, Joey, again, for setting this up. I don't see any other questions in the chat, but if anyone has any questions, please come off mute.
Yep, Greg, thank you again. And Jan, thanks for that input. Anyone else? Okay, then. Well, Greg, I will be talking to you soon. Thank you again. And like I said, we will be hosting these again. And everyone have a great rest of your week, and we'll be talking to you soon. If you are not contracted, please get with me. Send me an email. You all have our emails. I'm sure most of you are. Have a good one. Talk with you all soon. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.